Hello everyone, this is Michael Gucci from Airdrop's deck. Today we'll be talking about a very interesting project, Metal Packaging Token. MPT Airdrop will be happening this week. This is similar to our claimable airdrops in the past like Emanate and ZKS and ZOS. Please claim the MPT tokens within the 6-week period. After this period, we are going to reclaim all the unclaimed tokens. In this case, we are using a hybrid model, which means after this initial airdrop, we will be doing a V-airdrop using VRAM. Please wait for further details regarding that, which we will announce after this 6-week period. Today, we are joined by Carlos and Jasper from MPT and Jax from EOS Discussions. Enjoy the show. Hi, Jax.
How's it going?
Is this better?
I can see you fine. I can hear you fine. Everything feels all right.
I've used Crowdcast a few times before, and it worked fine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I had to figure something out. There's some settings.
Yeah. I mean, I used it a few times. It's a great tool if you could get it to work, but it could be quite frustrating at times.
So how are things in? Are you in Lisbon now, Jax?
Yeah. Still in Lisbon, sunny. I'm wearing a coat just because it's a little cold inside, but outside it's fantastic weather.
Here it's cold, and it's just near. I'm near Chicago. It's very cold.
Right.
But it's getting better. So spring is going to be here soon, and summer.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I actually didn't do too much work today just because the weather was so nice. You could go to the beach right now in Lisbon. You'll be fine.
Now, how long are you there?
I have been in Lisbon for about a year and a half now, actually. Yeah, it's getting close.
Excuse me, guys. That was a little bit of Dutch. Sorry, Jen.
No problem. Oh, there you go.
Hey.
Yes, we see everyone. Finally.
Hi, guys. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Nice to see you both.
Cake. The pastry.
Pastry.
We had a Portuguese cake just now. An hour.
Portuguese cake.
Yeah, it was a special Portuguese local dish that was brought to Jasper's store. So enjoyed that.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, nice to meet all of you. And sorry about all the technical difficulties. But I think now let's begin. Well, it's great to have all of you here today. I am Michael Gucci from Airdrop's deck, and we have Carlos and Jasper from Metal Packaging Token, and we have Jax from EOS Discussion today. Well, let's start off with Carlos. Can you tell us a little bit about the project, Carlos, and your background, how you came into crypto space and how you got interested in blockchain and how this project came about?
Yeah, sure. Well, first of all, I've been in the metal packaging industry for about 18 years now. And I was 24 when I started. And literally a couple of things came together. We've been wondering because every supply chain can be made more efficient. That's my understanding. But particularly this one can be helped a lot through blockchain technology. When I first heard about blockchain technology, I immediately made that link, that connection to possibly do something in the future with that towards the enhancement really of the supply chain of metal packaging. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That all happened in the end of 2017, where basically, I think 80% joined the blockchain sphere then. And, we started the project throughout 18, and here we are in 19. So that's basically a rough introduction. What we think is that there's a couple of aims that the project has, one of them being more products need to be packed in metal packaging, metal containers, basically.
Everything that can be packed in metal packaging needs to be packed in metal packaging.
Exactly.
Yes, that's in the white paper. I remember reading that.
One of the most important lines in the white paper.
Yeah.
Yes, To be honest, I didn't know much about packaging industry at all until I came to meet you, Carlos. When I heard about this metal packaging token, my first thought was, what is that got to do with blockchain, right?
Understand
I
that.
went and I looked at the white paper, and I was quite impressed. And I did some research. So the way I understand, every product we use in life, needs packaging. Whether it's whether it's a hand soap, or whether it's cosmetics, whether it's paint,
Yeah.
and anything that can be packaged, has many different solutions. Just like anything in our life, we have choices. We can package that in metal, we can package that in glass, or in paper, or in plastic. And many times this choice is dependent on the cost as well as the lobby of that particular industry.
Both.
And people sort of migrate towards plastic because it's cheaper, durable, and probably the lobby is great too, right? But on the other hand, metal is good. Paper, metal, and glass are the only thing that's 100% recyclable. Infinite times. So you can recycle it many times without losing purity or quality. Now that's something I didn't know about that. And then, then we hear about the plastic pollution, the garbage patches, and the beaches littered with plastic. So it all sort of comes together. So the goal of this project then is to bring the disparity between the cost of this plastic packaging versus the better choices in life, like the metal or glass. And this project is particularly focused on metal packaging industry. Am I right, Carlos?
This is a result of extensive research, of course, and talking to a lot of through our, let's say, before MPT, our core company, Procan. Every customer, basically everybody that has to pack a product into a packaging solution would prefer to do it in metal if at equal circumstances. So that means price-wise. Of course, and Jasper's right there, not every product is suitable for both, but when it is, and for instance, if you're talking about paints, all paints are suitable to be packed in metal containers instead of plastic. The only problem is that there's a 20-30% difference cost-wise. So MPT wants to reduce that, if possible, even eliminate it. I think it's possible. But then again, there are a lot of factors, influences that join or are forces within this mechanism, right? And that cannot be overseen. If we make the supply chain more effective, price can come down. So that difference, that 20-30% price difference that currently exists, can come down, and then the choice will be easier for basically the brand owners, because those are in charge.
So Jasper, what's your background and how did you join the Metal Packaging Token project?
I'm very happy to elaborate on that. I met Carlos through a whole different kind of thing. And actually, I'm very passionate also about the environment. So I know more about that than my particular knowledge in blockchain per se, or the industry of metal packaging. But I was fired up because of all the positive stuff about the metal packaging compared to, for example, glass, paper, or plastic. That I thought, okay, this is finally a way for us people at this stage in life to really do something different and on a big scale. And that is something that really grasped my attention. So I was very happy to meet Carlos with our same interest in that. And I think the blockchain can be the perfect instrument to reduce the costs and to make it interesting for everybody, because that's the only problem for now in the metal packaging industry, the costs.
Okay, so the way I understand this project, so you are planning to build a can dispensing machine or can machine, right? Can collecting machine, where it will be placed in metal deposit points, and there is a mobile app that's going to be used by the end consumer, So people can take this metal can, bring it to this can machine, drop it, get paid in MPT tokens, and this metal can be sent back for recycling. That's one part of the project, right? And then there is the metal scrap repurchase program. And there are different layers. I think maybe you can explain it better.
I will explain this. I'll go into the first part of your question. Why are we doing this? So there's a couple of reasons that are very important here. People need to get rewarded if you want to create change in behavior. So, for instance, here in the Netherlands, which is pretty astonishing, we are sort of ordered or advised by the governments, the local governments, to put metal containers in plastic bags with the rest of the waste plastic. So this is how it is now, and is, well, let's say, one of the most progressive countries, maybe even when it comes to this these situations, waste disposal and recycling and etc. And the situation in the Netherlands is that we have magnetic metals and we have non-magnetic metals. And of magnetic metals, it's about 85% at the moment that we recover simply by a magnetic head that goes over the large mountain of waste, basically. And but all beverage cans are aluminum, and that's not magnetic, and we recover about 50% of that. And the Netherlands, you can imagine what these percentages are in, let's say, Bangladesh.
If I may add to that, for me also what's astonishing is that the Netherlands is making sure people do bring in their plastic and are even rewarded by bringing in their plastic. But this doesn't go to say for metal. Well, metal is way better for the environment, so they're not being rewarded to bring back the metal, but they are being rewarded to bring back the plastic. And even of the plastic that is brought back, a big percentage is not even being recycled. So that, for me, it's mind-blowing.
Correct. And if I may add something to that, there is, when you have 1 kilo of stamped empty cans together, you have an intrinsic value that in fact is a commodity. And this is the difference that Jasper is pointing out. A kilo of plastic is nothing. It represents absolutely no value. We would be better off if that kilogram would not exist at the end of the life. The thing is that having, and I can say 1 kilo, but let's say 1 ton of compressed metal, empty metal cans, saves up between 85 and 95% of CO2 if you send that to the melting ovens and remelt it into prime material instead, and that's scenario number 2, is what we're doing now, instead of delving it, mining it,
making new metal,
the iron ore out of the earth.
That's right. So it's basically recycled because it doesn't lose any purity or quality, right? It's as good as a new metal can once it's recycled.
And coming into, so answering your second part of the question, India, for instance, I use the Indian example very much because many times because it's so, it illustrates the situation so well. There are so many Indian can makers that are buying very bad quality material, and they're paying 80 to 90% of the prime material price, while the quality percentage with respect to the prime material is not even 30%. It's basically scrap. And this is what we also need to stop, because declassified material traders are making 100, 200, 250% profits, and trade is fine. We're all for trade, but the thing is here that that these Indian companies, for instance, and they're in India is an example because there's not a lot of steel mill capacity there, so they need to import a lot. Nowadays they import also a lot from China, but there's also a very big movement of well, some people call it secondary. Secondary is fine if you can use it, but declassified means it's scrap. And I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this, but I know how it works. In India, they have to import material with a certificate that certifies that the material is not scrap.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, in Europe, it is. And that's a very big problem that we need to eliminate. I don't know if you guys are still following me.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
actually,
It's
actually,
yes, go ahead, Jix.
yeah. So very interestingly, Peter, one of our community members on ES discussion, you know, at first when I heard about metal package tokens, I didn't really know why we needed the blockchain for your project. But he explained to me that there's actually a lot of almost fraud in the recycling business. Basically, where they take like labor off.
I'm not really allowed to say that, but I'm say it, and I won't deny it.
Let's put it this way. Make it way more transparent.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's say it like that.
Yeah. Keep the supply chain clean. Yeah.
Blockchain functionality, basically, the most important blockchain functionality for MPT is the recycling rates that will be visible to brand owners. So that means that either Pepsi-Cola or Coca-Cola or whoever, a brand owner that will join the ecosystem, the MPT ecosystem, and they will start by doing a pilot in, let's say, the west of India, for instance. They will know after an X amount of time, they will know exactly how many cans of their own cans recycled.
So Jasper, then the strategy here is to take a small area for this project and then expand wide, or how are you going to implement this?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? I didn't catch the first part of it.
Strategy going forward would be to first construct these machines, the can recycling machines, and develop the mobile app. And then you're going to start with a small geographic area, maybe locally Netherlands, and then expand out, or you want to target the Asian market first, or?
Yeah, we start to focus on the fifth layer at first, so the end consumers. And in that way, we can inspire them to bring their metal to our deposit points, and they will be rewarded in MPT. So basically, similar system we already have in the Netherlands in plastic. What we will also do, of course, it will start locally. What we will also do is we will arrange governmental subsidies.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's an English word.
Subsidies.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get backed up by the government in order to finance that in that way. And the thing is, everything is within the blockchain. So for everybody, it's fair. For everybody, it's transparent, and people will also get paid out in MPT without their need for any knowledge for blockchain. Because for that, many people, for example, my parents, that would be problematic because they don't know anything about it. But it's just going to be via our app, which is very easy to use. So you don't need any in-depth knowledge on that factor.
Exactly.
So in terms of development-wise, where are you guys at this point? Is it moving towards some? Are you in the middle of production in terms of mobile app, in terms of these machines, or is it still in the planning stages?
There are two basic paths which we are working on design-wise right now, and you said it correctly. One is the MPT deposit point, and one is the mobile app. The mobile app, to start with that, needs to be a wallet that can interact with the MPT deposit point, and you must be able to transfer tokens between wallets. That's not very difficult, but we want it to function stable worldwide. And this is a challenge, to say the least. We wanted to do it. We want to design it well, that it works in Bangladesh and in Belgium and in Sydney. This is what we want, and it's not that easy. I have to say it as it is. It's not that easy. I can have a mobile app in 1 month, but I'm sure that it will not be stable worldwide.
That's right, because of different phones, mobile phones, right? There is iPhone, Android, and there is this other. I think in the developing world, the iPhone is sort of very expensive there, so they use a different type of cell phones. It's I think it's a
different factors.
It's possible. It's just a matter of putting in the effort to get it going. How about the machine production wise? That's the easier part.
We're in the designing stage there as well. What we know now is that we're talking with several potential producers, because the design, basically we have that. We know what the functions need to be. We know how it needs to interact with the mobile app, and we know what mechanical movements the machine needs to do. Mechanical movements, first one is basically open when metal comes in. If plastics comes in, it cannot open. So that's one. The second is dividing magnetic metal from non-magnetic metal. And the last one is, you can imagine when you fill up a pile of empty cans that you're filling up air, basically, because so this works with sensors. When a certain level is reached, then it's not even a press, but it's like a stamp comes down and compresses the metal. But this also needs to be, you must be able to carry it or take it out. So we're still studying weight-wise what is okay in what country, because jurisdictions play a role. In one country, for instance, we have a forklift that goes in a truck and goes directly to the mill, and in another country there is a waste disposal service that one man needs to pick up a pile or a bundle. It's better to be explained as a bundle, but it needs to be carryable, right? It needs to be, it cannot be 85 kilograms. So those are the factors that are in play here.
The nice thing is also, like, all the cans or all the metal packaging will be provided with a QR code, and on that QR code, it's very easy to arrange a certain code to see what the weight is or what the size is. And that also gives us, also the can makers, information about the area where most is recycled, or the length of the recycling when they buy it, when they bring it back for recycling. And furthermore, it can give a nice, how do you say, like, estimation of the value of the metal, because of course the metal, if it's very big, it's worth more, so then you will receive more MPT.
Excellent. I admire your project very much, and thank you for coming to the EOS blockchain, because as I read in your white paper, so you had considered Ethereum before, you looked at Zilliqa. Yes, those are all very, very good projects. I've been in this space for the last 5 years. When I came to this space, there was just Bitcoin. Then came the Ethereum. I was one of the early investors in Ethereum and early believers in Ethereum. But then we soon ran into the scaling issues and everything was a mess. And then came EOS, and then everything seemed to be possible now because of the speed of the blockchain as well as the immutability of the records. And I'm very glad that you made this choice. Now let's talk about the tokens. That's what our viewers will be interested in. The tokenomics, or the token economics here. So the MPT has a max supply of 1.9 billion, right?
1.8.
1.8 billion. So out of that, 50% is going to be airdrop to all EOS account holders with a balance of more than 0. So that means everybody who has any amount of EOS will get some MPT at a ratio of 1:1. With a cap of 500,000 per account. Is that correct?
Correct.
Excellent. So then you have other plans for the remaining 50%, right? Can you explain that, Carlos? And I think that's some of the very good mechanisms that you had, which I had not seen before.
There's a couple of things that are important to, and I will start with, because there's going to be like a vacuum amount that is created basically by this capping mechanism. So, and we've estimated that to be approximately 500 million tokens. If Airdrop, because we're going to do this with Airdrop Stack, and if Airdrop Stack takes back unused tokens, unclaimed tokens, and then does V airdrop with RAM, and there's still another vacuum, then those tokens are being accumulated on the existing vacuum. And let's say that would be 500 to 600 million approximately. That's our estimate. Those will be we will sell in a community sale, a 4-week community sale, like explained in the white paper. And it's very easy. We will determine the price very close to that 4-week period. It will be done through our website, and everything that is not sold is directly burned. I believe we're the first one that can actually guarantee that, because there's going to be a smart contract that everybody that buys into that community sale, if they hold for 12 months, they have 100% buyback guarantee. So even if I wouldn't know anything about this project, I would invest in it. Why? Because if I hold it for 12 months,
No risk.
there is absolutely no risk. We keep that liquidity. Even if I wanted to, I could not touch it, because the smart contract prohibits me to do it. It's simply impossible. Now, of course, there are hodlers, as we call them, and they're traders. Everybody needs to do what they need to do. If they want to trade and take an X amount of profit in this 12-month period, that's perfectly fine for us. The only thing is that then they forfeit that right.
Yes, excellent. Now, this is something that has not been done before. At least I am not aware of it. Are you, Jakes? Has this buyback been done before? I think Bankar had something like that. They put a floor under the price, because I think Bankar got more than what they asked for in the ICO, and they had guaranteed a price level for some period of time. But it was not a buyback, if I remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think any EOS project does buybacks right now. I think, like, I know Binance, BNB does it. A lot of Ethereum project does it, but I don't think buyback is a...
Binance does quarterly buybacks, that's correct.
Yeah. I don't think any project at EOS that I know of does buyback.
So. Excellent. So that's very, very great that people are trying new things on the chain. And this is great. So people, essentially for an investor, the risk is very low here. So as long as they make a reasonable investment and hold it for 12 months, there is no downside. And the project goes up, there is only upside to that.
For the community, so that is correct. If you hold it, you are guaranteed the 12-month buyback guarantee at the same price as you bought it. Yes, that's correct.
Excellent. So the airdrop is going to happen sometime this week, and the community sale is going to open after that, right?
Friday.
Friday.
Then we have, because we have a claimable model airdrop, so people have 6 weeks to claim it. That can go through Airdrop Stack's portal or through Jack's discussions app. Mm-hmm. Of course, also people can do it because we've tried it on Clios and other wallets that people might use. They can do it as well. Anyway, that is stage 1, and stage 2 is that we will do a second airdrop after 6 weeks, and after another 6 weeks, then we know how many tokens exactly we are eligible for the community sale, and we will set a date, which is going to be end of June.
Excellent, excellent. So the airdrop claim process is similar to many of the airdrops that you have done before. So it's either through the airdrop stack portal, or you can use EOS discussions, and we will post a separate video on how to do this, just like a short video of a claim process. It's very simple. Basically, any type of interaction with the smart contract, whether it's through our portal or just transferring a small amount of token to another wallet or to an exchange, or any type of interaction will complete the claim process, and then the MPT is belongs to the account holder after that period, after that initial action. Jakes, can you tell us something about the US discussions and how this would work, and how the claim process would work? They're slightly different, right? You had to do a tip process there.
Yeah. So it's for anyone that hasn't used EOS discussions out there, it's just basically a community discussion site. We help promote a lot of projects, include ones like Carlos. So what we did is set up a custom page for Metal Package Token. So you just log in. There would be a post. Carlos is actually coming on to do a AMA, Ask Me Anything about the token. I think a lot of people would be interested. Also airdropping an extra 50,000 MPT during that process. So if you're listening, go check out the AMA, ask him some questions about the token project. So all you would do is hit the reply button, hit the tip button, and we made it so that the default tip amount is 0.001 MPT, so the smallest amount of token you can transfer. And you just hit post, and then the transaction will just sign, do scatter, and you basically made a small transaction which would claim the token for you. So the whole process is very simple. It sounds very complicated when I say it, but like when you see the whole thing would take like 10 seconds.
Excellent. Well, Jakes, do you have any questions for Carlos and Jasper?
Not exactly. I'm just really looking forward to you guys coming on the site to answer some questions. We already had 2 very successful AMAs with EOS New York, and actually 3. EOS New York, Enox, and latest one we have was with EOS Venezuela. A huge amount of community input. Our community is always excited to hear about new projects, learn about what you guys are doing. So just looking forward to that.
Nice, man. Happy to hear it.
Very good.
Excellent. Any last words? We'll start with Jasper. Anything that we missed? Jasper, anything you want to add?
For me, I want to, once again, that's for me the bottom line, that we can make this work. And we can make it work if we all believe in it. And I really do. The way I read the white paper, the way I talked to Carlos, how he was passionate about this program, especially with his expertise and his experience. I'm so excited to be able to only be a very small part compared to Carlos or you guys, very small part of this. And everybody that will join our program will be a very small part of hopefully something great.
Excellent. And the final word to you, Carlos.
Well, I just want to thank you all for this opportunity, of course, to make this a little bit more public. It all comes down to, if you summarize the project, it all comes down to creating awareness towards a situation that is really impacting our lives more than we actually think. At least that is my belief. And I'm very happy that we have this chance to make this a little bit more public. Thanks to you and Jacques. Many thanks for contributing to what I think is going to be a very, very interesting project.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for everyone. Thank you for joining, and good luck with the project. Bye-bye.